Hello and welcome back to CEO.CA's Inside the Boardroom. My name is James Petterman, and today I'm joined by Colin Padget, President, CEO, and Director of Founders Metals. Colin, great to see you today.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So it's been an exciting year for Founders. Lots of drill results put out and impressive share price performance. Last you spoke with CEO.CA was at PDAC back in March. Can you maybe give us an overview of the work and any of the key drill results that you've seen since then?
Sure, yeah. I'd say the big catalyst or big things we've had come up since the PDAC recording went through metallurgy work that came back with up to 96% recovery. Basically showed that we had free gold, fracture fill gold, all things that are very favorable to those processes, the processes we want to see. After that, the drilling side of things was really fantastic. We started doing some step out work to the east of the Froyo main zone, and it seems like every time we step in that direction, we seem to come into a new parallel zone that hadn't been recognized previously, and it's really kind of grown the footprint of the future deposit, hopefully.
Fantastic. Yeah, always exciting to see when you're stepping out further and still encountering high-grade intercepts. Can you walk us through maybe a bit of the backstory of the San Antino project? I understand it's a massive land package, 200 square kilometers. There's been informal or artisanal mining happening there for maybe over 100 years. With all of that in mind, I imagine there's a lot of targets to choose from when you're doing exploration work. Can you give us a sense of maybe your exploration strategy when it comes to developing the footprint here?
Sure, yeah. That's actually one of the most interesting pieces of the property is just that there is such a developed history of it. Mining started in the late 1800s, so we're coming up on 130 plus years. With that comes all the kind of alluvial or small scale mining work, and that's one of the first kind of key indicators in terms of strategy. The best place to look for gold is where people are mining gold or have done in the past. So we certainly use that, but at this point now we've got a lot of kind of the right technical people on the ground too to work with the data and everything that we're collecting, both from drilling and just mapping, etc. We just put out a press release actually here not too long ago covering over some of the exploration pipeline basically that we've got coming up. And our most recent target, Boise, we're just getting into the drilling on that. Lower Antino, we've got some pretty impressive results coming back from the groundwork there. And then further to the east, the lavas are really shaping up as something of size.
And can you give us a sense of maybe some of the grades that you've been encountering this year?
Yeah, we've had some pretty big ones. 46 meters of almost 5 grams. Biggest intercept to date is just shy of 600 gram meter product, and seeing a lot more kind of broader zones in some of this step out work that we've been doing. That 46 meter one is part of it, but 26 meters of 5, and a few more like that.
And are drills still turning in the moment? What else is planned for the rest of the year in terms of exploration?
Drills are still turning. That's one of the beauties of working where we do. We shut down for a couple of weeks over the holidays around Christmas, New Year, and other than that, it's full steam ahead. So we've got 3 rigs operating right now, at full tilt, and the plan is to continue doing that. No real season to it. Just keep on drilling.
Great. Yeah, I guess you're operating in Suriname is you're blessed with that year-round season, which I think some people in northern Canada might be envious of. I wanted to touch on those 3 drill rigs you mentioned. I understand you own your own drills. It's an interesting differentiator. Can you walk us through the decision-making behind that and maybe how that affects the economics of your exploration?
Sure. Yeah. I think we had the option or the opportunity to decide to go with our own rigs or go kind of the more standard route with a third party kind of right out of the gate. And it was just kind of right place, right time in terms of people and having the capital to buy the equipment and the logistic support to actually get it to site and make it all work. So it's gone very well. At this point, we average at this point around 165, 170 Canadian all in per drill meter. That's with our assays included. So that is considerably cheaper than you'd pay if we had a third party operator in country or certainly if you compare it to that Northern Canada stuff, like you said, it's a big difference.
Can you tell me, are you planning on attending any conferences this year?
Yeah, we got a busy one. Going to Colorado next week for Beaver Creek, and then following that up with the Denver Gold Show in Colorado Springs.
Thank you very much for that overview, Colin. I do want to talk a bit about the financial position of the company. There's been some interesting developments. You had 11 million warrants outstanding at PDAC when we last spoke. So I imagine there's been some money coming in from those being exercised. At the same time, some significant investments over the year from BMO and then BlackRock. So can you tell us, where does that leave the company financially? What's the treasury looking like?
Sure. Yeah. Well, there's been a lot happened since PDAC on that front. The warrants, with the exercise prices averaging around 50 cents, they continue to trickle in. At this point, we've got about 6 million warrants outstanding right now or left, which represents about $4.5 million or so. So we've had quite a bit of money come into the treasury on that front. A fair bit of it actually just recently too. We also, closed a $10 million placement with BlackRock as a single check back in May, and that's really what's kind of put us in a better position in terms of balance sheet and given us some runway to just keep working and not have that market pressure, that pressure to need to raise money right away. So that's what we're saying. About $8 million in working capital. Cash should be a little bit less than that, 7 million or so, with those warrants still to come in that are left.
Great. And in terms of remaining kind of costs throughout the year, how many more meters do you have planned for the drill program?
Got lots of meters planned. As many as we can drill is probably the right answer, given the no seasonality piece. But right now we're around 30,000 meters, just shy of that into the year. And I think that we'll probably get close to another 15,000 or so before the end of it. So with the third rig, production has really ramped up.
Great. I want to change focus just a little bit here, Colin, but can you tell us a bit more about the team on board of founders? I understand you have some geology background, but maybe what was your journey into the mining space, and who else is on the team that's helping to drive this project forward?
Sure. Myself, I started on kind of doing the business side of things. Came out of school from that, went into a bit of banking, but then, went back to school, did geology, grad school in geology, and then went up working a lot of it in the north, actually. So government survey work, and then into the more industry side of things. And that kind of grew from there to where I was managing things for founders and a couple of other companies, and then brought the project or Antino into this company and came on board as CEO. So, but really the team part has been really critical to our success here, I'd say over the whole project, but recently as well, as things grow to the scale that we have done over the last few months. Big one, Pascal Vogel's been there since the beginning as VPX, has done a fantastic job with people on the ground, but also with finding gold, as the drill bit seems to show. We've recently added Natalie Sanger and Katie McKenzie as well to the management team, covering kind of the resource development side of things, but then also the corporate development IR piece. And it's been great having them as part of the team. It's really moved things forward. And the technical team just kind of continues to grow with good people. Once you've got that base of good team, good people, they want to bring their friends, and it's worked out for us.
No, it certainly sounds like you have a great team on board. I guess just looking ahead throughout the rest of the year, you've had some great results, obviously great performance in the markets, but with that, becomes maybe loftier and loftier expectations. Throughout the rest of the year, what can people expect from founders? I know you have around 15,000 meters drill program remaining, but are there any other updates people can be looking out for?
Yeah, there's a few. So, one kind of comes back to, I think, our first point here is the metallurgy. We'll have the final results of all of our metallurgical testing come out. We'll have a little bit of testing work come out on the tailings side of things as well, which will be interesting to see. And we also should see some corporate update stuff here in the not too distant future, around, restating the option agreement, that sort of thing. but I think that have implications for how quickly we can move forward with the option and with the earn-in side of things. After that, on the drilling side, the drilling continues, and the results and releases around that are going to keep coming out, making excellent progress on the Froyo front, with continuing to step that to the north and grow that, in terms of width. We've got some more drilling at Donut to do in the future, but Blaze right now, I'm pretty happy with what's been coming out of the core, where our plan from the get-go on that one has been to get the kind of first initial program done, and then present that as kind of a whole piece to the market. And we'll be seeing that coming up here, I'd say towards mid-end of September.
Great. Well, certainly looking forward to that update. I guess just to wrap up, when retail investors and viewers of this video even are looking at companies to invest in this sector, why do you think Founders makes a compelling case? What makes Founders unique?
I think Founders has a combination of, the jurisdiction, the location. Suriname and the Guyana Shield as a whole is certainly known for big discoveries. The Oko West piece with Reunion is probably the best example of that most recently. And also the timelines in terms of, discovery to production can be fairly tight. And that's a big part of, return on investment for people getting into the story, is how quickly we can go from, where we're at now, where we have a project, to actually getting the drilling done and moving it forward along that pipeline. So I really think, timeline, and then the opportunity for just continued growth. Right now, as we just talked, the pipeline for exploration is pretty significant, and we're looking at some pretty major acquisitions in terms of concessions around us as well. So in the future, we could have a pretty large piece of the Guyana Shield Greenstone belt, under Founders umbrella.
Well, Colin, looking forward to hearing more updates throughout the year. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.